Hey there, my name is Chris Mango, and I'm the creator of Mango Mischief, a satirical, retro-style JRPG that's available for PC on Steam. If you're watching this video, you're about to see me playing my own game, showing off shortcuts and going into detail about the development process and intentions with essentially every aspect of Mango Mischief. So I think it's fair to say spoiler alert. If you'd like to play my game before watching this, the Steam link is in the description. I hope you enjoy my playthrough and commentary. Alright, we've got another episode. I'm going to add a few more save files just because I accidentally forgot to create a brand new save file 1 or 2 times ago, but this is a reminder to say that we are on episode 10. We're moving through Blizzard Blooms. We are currently in East Blizzard Blooms. We're going to head west to West Blizzard Blooms because that's how directions work. We're just going to make our way through these areas. I'm just going to ignore these kind of free roaming spirals until I get to the mandatory fights, which you'll see right here. We've got to verse 5 battles right in a row. They're all slightly different, but you'll see some overlapping enemies. We'll have to do a couple battles in East Blizzard Blooms and a couple battles in West Blizzard Blooms before we get to the Igloo, which has the boss who holds our medallion piece. I think it's the left half of the strength medallion. Now, each of these enemies will have their own weakness. For example, this Bubble Bunny in front is obviously a water elemental. Ice Vogel is ice. Nanook, I think this polar bear is also ice, and the Flare Fox is obviously water. But if you're a Rack and only do light and dark in terms of elements, you can spend your time increasing magic attack of a single ally or the entire party, which is a new skill we recently obtained, or casting one of a whole bunch of other skills. You can also take a look at the attacks they use for their elemental icons in case you're ever unsure. Let's go with Flow Like Water on the fire enemy here. We want to abuse as many elemental weaknesses as possible. Remember, it's all about that duality of fire versus water versus fire, those back and forths. Ice and thunder are a pair, thunder and ice are a pair, and light and dark, earth and wind. Let's just hit everyone. Great. Kill the Flare Fox. Brontomancial. Do some thunder damage against the ice enemies. Look at that. So I'm going to keep moving through these battles a little bit faster than normal, because there isn't too many new things to report, other than, again, just keep an eye on potential weaknesses. I think these ram-type enemies, the Oriamnos, I don't think that they have a weakness at all. Kanashak, this thunder wolf, is going to be weak against ice. Let's use a double recoil right off the bat. Do some pretty good damage at the expense of a good amount of HP. That's the double and eventually triple recoil skills. You'll notice also the Thunder Wolf took some damage, took super effective damage, because I believe Marion has an ice weapon equipped. Vanquish is a good way to deal damage to everyone. Every single enemy in this area has a regular attack that can deal damage, but also has a Call of the Wild attack. And the purpose of Call of the Wild is that it will heal their entire pack of monsters. It would be nice to not miss all the time. Okay, there we go. And of course, it's not missing all of the time. It's, the 1 or 2 times you miss, you think you're getting super unlucky. There we go. 2 battles down, level 4s. Mero's a little bit higher because she just completed a boss battle where she solo fought that fire boss, Pyrana. Let's do Technus Slot. Now we can actually hit all enemies if we're willing to use up 50 of our TP. So in that case, it might be worthwhile to actually use half of your TP gauge to hit everyone. If you're versing only 1 or 2 enemies, you should probably use up the 100 TP to hit 4 times, because you can hit the same person multiple times. But now we can start doing some damage to everybody. There's the super effective we can abuse. And the more skills you get, the more all skills you get, like Cryomancy all, Nutrimancy all, Technomancy all. And so it makes it a lot easier to kill packs of enemies. You can see how quickly I'm moving through some of these battles. And that is despite the fact that we just received 2 Medallion halves. I'm raged, so I'm auto-attacking as Marion. And I just want to point out that these enemies now all say 2.0. The first 2 dungeons that we completed, Stimfy Station and Infernal Inferno, those had 1.0 monsters, because we either had 0 or 1 Medallion half. But after collecting 2 Medallion halves, every one of the 8 dungeons where you can access Medallion halves, all of their monsters level up to 2.0. And then after we get 2 more Medallion halves, they'll level up to 3.0 and then 4.0. I'm going to switch classes again. Oh, so notice here I have all level 5. So I've gotten a skill from every single one of these alpha level master classes. So now I can just make my way up to level 10 with everyone. I don't actually need to change the skill. Don't need to change the class. I can just kind of move backwards here. Let's do Thunder Chaos. Maybe I'll get lucky and hit some of these birds over here. The Ice Vogel. I did not, but that's okay. I could have slowed them down with Ensnare to lower their agility. I could have maybe tried poisoning them. You have tons and tons of options. A fire all attack to do super effective damage to these. I'm still going to keep using Judgment, because yes, I'm losing some HP, but the amount of damage I do is very, very strong. We'll just keep working our way up. I think the most annoying monsters in this general area are potentially the polar bears, because the polar bears, I believe, have a skill. Well, I think they've got like 2 or 3 skills, but one of their skills can get rid of your magic points, and so getting rid of your magic points makes it more annoying in terms of not being able to cast as many skills. I don't have too many enemies in the game that sap magic points from enemies. These polar bears would be one type of enemy that does that. The Maxi Yetis towards the earlier parts of the game, in the Glacial Grove, in the snow area, those can also sap some magic with freeze magic. I think they've got an attack called Polar Bear, B-A-R-E, that additionally lower your MP. But maybe that won't be an issue. That'd be nice. Can't use Technoslot right now because we don't have enough TP, so we'll do Bullseye. This is a guaranteed to hit attack, which is great if you're blinded, or if you just want to make sure you don't miss. Maybe it's like a really high-stakes attack. It's not guaranteed to kill, but that hit is certain to land. Wow, that was kind of lucky. Let's just use Judgment again. As you upgrade more and more skills, or as you unlock more and more skills, you'll get a feel for which skills you're probably going to use very frequently, and which skills you're probably going to keep for only very specific niche situations. So we're going to see if we can dodge all these battles. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but there are some ways to get around. Okay, we can... I'm pretty sure we can just literally escape this battle if we wanted to. Obviously, it wouldn't take that long to actually defeat these monsters. But if you're speeding through the game, leaving one of these battles, you'll notice I kind of purposely freeze the spiral for a little bit of time, so that they won't chase you again for like another 3 seconds or so. That way you're not as likely to get stuck or trapped by enemies that you're trying to escape from. So this completes the East Blizzard Blooms region. Obviously, you can fight a lot more of these. They're not particularly difficult, so it's not a bad place to level up, especially if you want to open up all the avalanches, because some of these have treasure chests. Hey everyone, hold on a second. What's up? I was just thinking about how cool it'd be if one of these animals joined our team. Do you mean that we would train them as a pet of some sort and they would follow us around? Something like that. Or what if we found an animal that could already talk with us? Yeah, right. Could you imagine if we were so weak that we had to recruit a green frog or a red dog to join us? A little bit of a reference to Frog from Chrono Trigger and Red 13 from FF7. Or maybe a red lion instead of a dog. Or perhaps a red wolf. I'm not sure if it's canon as far as exactly which animal Red 13 is most closely aligned to. Um, but it's certainly some sort of a red um, carnivore. Nah, definitely a red dog. Or what if a human turned out to be an animal in disguise? Again, not so much disguise, but again, Frog from Chrono Trigger. You certainly have an active imagination. Fair enough. And so we're actually halfway through Blizzard Blooms. So now things are getting darker. It's not just that. These animals ahead seem more troubled. Arek is right. It seems like the creatures up ahead are aberrations of the ones we just fought. So we just fought a bunch of kind of cute, cuddly type monsters. There's kind of like grotesque, almost evolved, monstrous forms of each of them in these spirals. You'll be able to look at the upcoming enemies and kind of relate them back to the enemies that we just fought. So like the Thunder Wolf is going to get a lot larger and creepier. The Flare Fox, the little red fox, is going to get much larger and creepier. The Ice Vogel, that blue ice bird, is going to get much larger and creepier, etc. Yeah, it's like they're unnatural. Like they used to be peaceful, but they were changed or enchanted somehow. Exactly. Something very peculiar is going on here. I have a feeling that whatever, or whoever, is behind these aberrations will be the key to a medallion piece. I'm sure we can handle them. They'll be no match for us. So in terms of mandatory battles, again, we're going to have to go through 5 mandatory battles. Same color codes: orange, yellow, light blue, dark blue, and purple. Here is kind of the monstrous form of the Bubble Bunny, which is now the Rapid Rabid Rabbit, which doesn't seem like it's a big deal, because, hey, how hard could it be to kill one bunny, right? However, every time you hit a bunny down to below 50%, it spawns twice as many. It spawns 2 additional ones. So Pyromencial might kill off this one, but now we're going to see 2 more spawn from this one and 2 more spawn from that one. There is a limit, although as you do damage to more and more, you might see some frame rate drops. This is pretty much the only battle in the game where you might actually end up seeing some frame rate drops, just because in RPG Maker MV, it prefers you to only have 8 monsters in a battle. But I triggered a sequence of events so that we can end up having more than 8 monsters. Here on the screen alone, you see 9, but obviously throughout this entire battle, there's even more. Technoslot, I'm really looking to do mass damage to everyone. I wanted to make these animations reasonably fast, because obviously you've got to sit through like a million of them. It also shows just how important it is to use things like Pyromancy All, or any sort of attack all. And now they'll start disappearing. With Sprig using Vanquish again. I'm sorry, Judgment again. We're really starting to whittle these down more. This is also a great place to get more TP. If you don't kill them off fast enough, you can probably see how you can begin to lose some HP kind of quickly. Let's just use Bullseye. Level 8, level 8, level 10, level 8. So I'm actually level 10 with Marrow. So, while I always like to change classes all at the same time, it seems to be the case that things are going to be thrown off just a little bit. Let's kind of coax this spiral out a little bit so we can avoid it, and then just run around. This will be mandatory battle 2. Thinking we do Thunder Chaos. Thunder against these are very strong, because these are Blizzard Lizard Wizards. I mean, obviously, right? Blizzard Lizard Wizards. These 2 monsters in the back will end up creating 2 more behind them, and then 2 more behind those once they get killed. So for most of this type of battle, you'll have to verse these types of crystal enemies. The Karna crystals. I don't think they're weak against anything, off the top of my head. Let's use Judgment. So as you can see here, we're making some progress. I'm going to use Bullseye to kill this one off. And I don't want to die. Metatonic All, there's only 5. Let's see. Using a mini Tonic All probably wouldn't be that helpful. But let's risk it. I do have 10 of them, so it's not a huge deal. And I've got a rack coming up soon anyway. Let's use Umbra Coda, just to start chipping away at one of the monsters. Alright, now that I've gotten around to my healer, let's use Mediheal All, just to get myself back to some reasonable health again. And as you can see here, choosing to heal, whether it's through items or a rack, is going to be relevant in a decent part of the game, especially in the later game. Normally I would use double recoil to do a lot of damage, but I really don't want to lose most of my hit points right now. So maybe I'll play it safer and just do Elite Beat, where I can still chip away at the monsters. Let's use Umbermancy. I think I'll kill the bottom and chip away at the top. Good. Just using Vanquish here. Let's go with Metathwackle. That actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I actually thought that the Thwack moves might not have been too great, because Arak's using a staff, I think, not like a stronger physical attack weapon. Now I'm noticing Sprig's HP is getting low, so now I get to finally show off something like Purple Heart. Purple Heart is a physical attack on one enemy that gets stronger the lower the user's HP is. So it's kind of like a last stand desperation attack. Eventually, there's a later skill called Medal of Honor, which does exactly this, but to all enemies. It only costs 20 magic points, because if you're using it while at like half health or higher, it really isn't going to do much. But when you start getting into the yellow zone, when you start having like less than 25 or 20 or 15% health, this can do a reasonable amount of damage, and for only 20 magic points. So you might be doing the same amount of damage as like Vanquish, but for only a quarter of the cost. So let's use Purple Heart, see if that does a good amount of damage. That's a lot of damage. Imagine if it was super effective, or imagine if he had a physical attack buff. You notice here I'm wasting all my quads on the bottom one. So keep Purple Heart and eventually Medal of Honor in your back pocket in case you like to play a little bit greedier. Actually, I want to see exactly how much damage Sprig will do now. Purple Heart again. Look how low his HP is. Okay, 2,500. Level 9, level 9, level 6, level 9. I'm going to run backwards for a second right now to kind of coax this spiral out. To get around. There are technically 3 different paths in West Blizzard Blooms. You could take the top path, the bottom path, or the center path, but you still have to verse there's still the same number of mandatory battles and other colored spirals to either dodge or run away from. So here again are the aberrations of the previous enemies. Right, these are kind of like more monstrous, kind of more badass looking forms of the East Blizzard Blooms. Let's start off with Ensnare to slow them down a little bit, to lower their agility. So as you can see here, at least I believe it was 2 enemies, are going to be attacking less frequently now. Let's also mess with them using Alacrity. See, what else should I use? Maybe Redemption. I don't remember what weapon Sprig is holding. If I did, I could actually exploit a weakness. Let's guess this one. Nice. Okay, so he has a Thunder Weapon on to exploit the Ice weakness, or the Ice type. Let's also use... Let's just use... I'm going to use Technomancy Alt. I want to hit everyone. Marion has an ice weapon, right? So she can do extra damage to thunder? Okay. I really like to take out one of these enemies as fast as possible. My favorite to kill is the Feather Frost, which is kind of that more evolved form of the Ice Woggle. My favorite one to kill is Feather Frost because he has an additional HP restoring ability, so he can keep the rest of his allies, your other enemies, alive for a lot longer than you. Typically, like 2 down, 2 to go. This is the only battle where you'll have to verse 4 different types of enemies in the West Blizzard Blooms. I don't have Aeromancy yet, so I can't really exploit this weakness while also hitting the other enemy, but I have Hydromancy, so I can do the reverse. I can exploit this weakness while still dealing a little bit of damage to this big bear. Let's say we do something like Triple Swing. Just to get a few hits off. And Lumaquad. Costs a decent amount of magic points, but we're pretty good at magic points, as you can see. And this should kill. How are we on leveling up? We just hit level 10s. So now we're going to switch to some new classes. We can keep that level 7. I still have to change Iraqs. So now, as long as no one's level 10 when you're fighting a battle, you won't be wasting any experience. I'm going to save the game right now. I just prefer to stay along the bottom route. It doesn't really change the experience too much of West Blizzard Blooms if you're going from right to left. So now we're versing duplicates of 2 of the 4 enemies. The final battle would be the other 2 duplicates. So we can do things like... let's do Water Chaos. Maybe we'll hit the fire monsters. Okay, one super effective, one not. Definitely can use Hydromancy. We might as well focus down these first. Tower of Terror, right? Tower of Terror, a reference to, well, a bunch of things, including an old school Disney World ride, as well as Terror being a reference to Earth. It should be pretty obvious, especially given how far into the game we are, what kinds of elements we're looking at here. Based on colors, based on the fact that, you know, their arms have rocks coming out of them, based on the fact that their names are references to certain elements, based on the fact that their attacks will still have those elemental icons like Fire, Pyro, Pierce. Let's do Neutromancy. Right, you can see Iraq can pretty much pull his own weight in terms of dealing damage now. You can use Technoslot. I think it's unlikely that Water Chaos would hit this other fire monster, just statistically. Let's use Hydromancy. Sprig's asleep. I didn't really want that, but Sprig just got woken up. So now, very low HP. So this is a job for Purple Heart. I'm going to use Purple Heart on the Ursadol that has more HP. And I think just Neutromancy alone should just be able to clean up here. How are we doing on leveling? I'm, again, leveling up after pretty much every single battle, which is great. There's one more absolutely mandatory battle now in West Blizzard Blooms, which is this one. I'm going to slow them down. This can be a little bit of a problem area because both of these bluebirds can potentially heal their whole side of the battle. Not through Glacial alone, but they have some other attack. So I really want to spend some time... Actually, I'm going to Alacrity them first. Then I'll use things like Brontomancy, because maybe I can mess with them further, like casting Confusion and whatnot. Let me take a look at what else they have. So if I break their Confusion, what's going to happen? The Confusion will all be gone. But at the same time, I'm about to attack 4 times in a row. So here's a case where I'm actually going to enjoy the fact that there's other debuffs on them. But I'm basically going to get rid of all the Confusion by hitting them. Because it's super effective. Because I might even be able to kill them before they get another turn off. Can I use Technoslot? Yes, I can. And since they're ensnared, I get to attack an extra time with most of my allies. This becomes pretty easy to win. 8898. Let's see. Can I run around here? Yes, I can. So we made it through the West and East Blizzard Blooms. Now we're inside the Igloo. There's 2 levels here. Oh, someone just hit level 10. Whoa, a few of the eastern creatures are here for some reason. They seem very aggressive. Yeah, and anxious. Wait a second. They've been captured. Why would someone capture the animals and lock them in cages? I think someone is experimenting on the animals and turning them into unnatural beasts. But why would they do that for no reason? I think it's time that we found out who is behind this and why. I see a ladder up ahead. If we could climb it, then maybe we'll find whoever is behind this strangeness. So as you can see here, we've got some battles on either end. Let's heal. Let's also stay inside the igloo. You can obviously transport all the way to the beginning of Blizzard Blooms, save you some time, that way you don't have to run all the way back through the west and then the east. Marrow needs a class change. And if I were to open these gates, I could benefit from the treasures in here. The treasures, both on this level and the level above, are some pretty good stat boosting items, which kind of reminds me that I should be using some stat boosting items that I've been gaining for every single level. You'll take a look here, I've got quite a few... Oops. I've got quite a few stat boosting items here. HP ups, MP ups, P defense ups, and agility ups. There's plenty more where these came from. How many do I have? 22. So let's just go something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly how you end up deciding to distribute these is completely up to you. I'm not paying too much attention as far as distributing everything perfectly equitably. I managed to make it through all of here really fast, which is pretty lucky. There's some RNG in terms of where the spirals are going to be and how annoying they're going to be. It's pretty much predestined that you'll have to verse at least one, if not both of these spirals. But that's okay, we're almost at the boss. Let's use Technoslot. I'm pretty high level in terms of Master Alpha right now, so I'm not really worried about getting killed. Being level 7, 8, 9, almost 10, really means you're benefiting from not just your stat boosting items, but also from the natural increase in stats that you get every time your class levels up from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. So I'm pretty strong at this point. Let's use... I can't use Technoslot. Let's use Bullseye. I wanted to basically whittle down this enemy to be very similar in HP to this other enemy, the 2 Tinder Tigers. That way maybe they'll die together. Maybe not this turn, but eventually. Alright. Nutrimancy all. I'll get more attacks off. I'm really not concerned about this, though. Let's use double recoil. I sacrificed a lot of HP, but I did a lot of damage. They're 2 massive attacks. Didn't get the level up, so I am going to just do a quick heal. I'm definitely going to level up after this next battle, though, so I can burn all of my magic points if I really want to. Got 1 more of these. What did we do last time? Maybe we started with a snare. I'm trying to keep a mental note on which things I can abuse in terms of elemental weaknesses. It doesn't matter to me that Mero's TP is basically gone now, because Mero's not going to be the one in the boss fight. It's going to be Sprig. I do want Sprig's TP to be maxed. Alright, Paralysis doing some work there. Technoslot. Let's hit them all. Get to exploit more weaknesses. Brontomancy All or Cryomancy All. Let's see if we can finish off these Feather Frosts first. Judgment. And running a little bit low on MP, but it doesn't matter. The battle's over and we're going to level up. Level 10, level 10, level 10. I definitely want to make sure I switch my class to Sprig right now, because I'm about to get a monstrous amount of experience from the boss fight, and it would really be terrible to have it all wasted. Here, behind these gates, there's a lot of other really good chests. I recommend you get them. I will not be wasting time, though, on this. Let's go with this. That should be fine. I'm going to also... you can make the decision to change your TP mode when you're about to go into a boss battle. Because as you might remember, I've had Team Player for my TP mode on everyone. If I scroll through, it's Team Player, Team Player, Team Player, Team Player. And that gives me technical points every time someone else on my team takes damage. But if you're doing a solo battle against a boss, there are no teammates. So if I keep Sprig on Team Player, he won't be gaining any new technical points throughout the boss battle. So it might be worthwhile to change to something like Stoic, which is based on how many times you get hit, or Combatant, which is based on how many times you actually deal a hit. Either one of these would be ideal. Now that being said, I don't want to risk forgetting to change back to Team Player later on, so I'm just going to keep on Team Player. I'm not going to need the extra technical points, so this battle shouldn't take too long. Hello there, travelers. Welcome to my humble abode. I am Angelus. Have you been capturing these poor animals and experimenting on them? Not experimenting, per se. Then why are some of them in cages? Because they will be useful to me. What are you talking about? You need to explain yourself. I do not need to explain myself to you, or to anyone else, but I choose to tell you. I am the keeper of one half of the Strength Medallion, and I derive my strength from nature. Disrupting the natural purity and balance of flora and fauna is how I stay strong. It is as simple as that. And when you drain their innocence, you turn them into abominations. When I take away their innocence, not only do I gain power, but their true strength is also unleashed. That's so mean, so rude. Perhaps, but I am also a merciful angel. I allow them to return to the wild once they are no longer useful to me. You are definitely not an angel. We're going to stop you, Angelus. And how do you plan on doing that exactly? We'll kick your ass, take your medallion piece, and banish you from here. One of you wishes to challenge me for my half of the Strength Medallion? I eagerly welcome the opportunity to drain the life from a human. Who wishes to challenge me? I will take this one. It is time that I showed everyone what Hargoth's protector is capable of. Alright, let's psych ourselves up a little bit. A War Cry, which is a new skill, can increase the physical attack of the entire party, which is great if we're just going to keep hacking away using physical attacks, or even if it's just Sprig and Marion doing that. But we can get away with just a good old-fashioned Empower right now. And let's do some damage. Redemption. Remember, we're super effective. I'm not going to be getting any more technical points, but that's okay. Taking some damage. I'm wondering if Death by a Dozen Cuts will do damage. Now, Death by a Dozen Cuts does 12 weak physical attacks, which means each attack does less damage than an average physical attack. So sometimes, if the defense of the opponent is too high, you'll basically do 12 times 0 damage. where things just won't register at all. But if you can register on the defense at all, if you can actually deal some damage, chances are you can really drill and whittle down enemies very, very quickly based on super effective element weaknesses and whatnot. So as you can see here, I just did a ridiculous amount of damage. This is very, very situational, though. Death by a dozen cuts. With a lot of enemies, it won't really do much at all. By the way, the death by a dozen cuts does 4 sets of 3 hits. And so it'll pick one enemy to hit 3 times, then it'll pick another enemy to hit 3 times, and then a third enemy to hit 3 times, and then a fourth enemy to hit 3 times. Now, if there's only one enemy, you're going to be swinging 12 times at the same enemy. Very, very easy to exploit a little bit of strategy there. So we get a Strength Medallion half. I'm pulling my own weight. Now we've got the left half. With each medallion piece, I keep being reminded who I'm fighting for, why I'm on this journey. And now again, we're going to go through this. Now this is the first medallion piece in the sequence of 8. So you'll actually see the first 1/8 of each individual's cutscene. This is the beginning of Sprig's cutscene. And then we'll end up seeing the cycling of colors for the next 5 cutscenes, or pieces of the cutscene, representing the 5 medallion pieces we don't have yet. It'll go blue, orange, gray, blue, orange, blue. Oh, purple, I forgot. Blue, orange, gray, purple, blue. And then this is the orange, which we already got the right half of the soul medallion in Infernal Inferno. And then it'll move straight into the 8th part of this cutscene, which is normally the final gray piece. The Sage Medallion right half, which we got when Arak beat Queen Qualia Quesnelia in the Stimfi Station. And so basically we're up to seeing 3/8 of each cutscene now. Sprig's going to turn around. And now we'll roll right into the next cutscene. This will be the first 1/8 of Mero's cutscene. And then again, we'll skip 5/8 because we don't have those 5 medallion pieces yet. I'm actually going to hold down the spacebar to move this along a little bit faster. As these cutscenes get longer and longer, holding down the spacebar will become a more and more attractive option, whether you're holding down the spacebar or the left mouse key or your controller button that basically just represents confirming or selecting something. So this is actually moving at around 2 times speed. This is the beginning of Mero's cutscene. And then we go blue, orange, gray, purple, blue. And now we've got, you'll see Mero is moving faster. She'll be casting the spells faster. These monsters will be running at her faster. This would normally be the orange cutscene. And then the gray cutscene will be when her hair changes from her normal lighter brown to a very, very light kind of straw color, very faded yellowish. Then Mero walks back up, sees Arak has now taken over the class, is now teaching something Mero ran away from. And now we switch over to Arak. This is the normal speed. I took my hand off of the spacebar. And now we're cutting to blue, orange, gray, purple, blue. Just holding on spacebar again. We're going to cruise through this last quarter of the cutscene, the 7th and 8th of the cutscene. You'll see Arak's cutscene. The first 2/8 represent spring. The second 2/8 represent summer, then fall, then winter. Kind of representing the progression of Arak and Ranya's relationship. We'll talk more about each of these cutscenes as we uncover more and more of them, what the kind of storyline is behind what is going on in each of these. As you can see here, Marion is not too thrilled about following her mother into the loot stake hair. Again, we've got blue, orange, gray, purple, blue, and then we've got the last 2/8. And now you might be wondering, who is this individual over here on the right? And why is Marion on the left, and why does she have kind of faded hair? What are they singing about? I guess they're happy. So we kind of have a split screen cutscene. I'm still holding down spacebar to move this along. I'll probably do that for the rest of the cutscenes. And now we're done with Blizzard Blooms. I'm going to talk to the statue. I'm going to exit Blizzard Blooms to the east. Yes, leave Blizzard Blooms. Now we get all the way over here. Don't need to run through anything again. Although I do strongly recommend, especially if you want to, make the later stages of the game very, very easy, I definitely recommend opening up those prison doors and enjoying the treasures that you'll unlock by defeating a few more monsters inside the igloo. I think the next dungeon I'm going to pass through and complete is going to be one of Marion's dungeons, because she's the only one who I haven't actually completed a dungeon for yet. I'm going to do Hidden Haven next. In fact, since the next stream will probably be a little bit longer because I have to navigate through a maze, let's open it up first. We're going to open up Hidden Haven. This is called Obscure Oasis right here. What was that? It was the strong slipcase. Maybe it's trying to tell us something. So there's a few different randomly placed kind of terrain items here. Clicking on whichever flower or bush or tree has the little energy or magic or light symbol will start to set off a sequence of events that allows us entrance into the dungeon below, called Hidden Haven, where there's a lot of mazes. Well, there's some very long, large mazes that can knock you back if you don't time your movement just right, which I'm sure my playtesters will enjoy me watching, because they had to go through the motions of completing the maze, and I'm sure they'll enjoy watching me mess up and resetting as well. Here's a little arrow pointing to walk over here. The sand over here seems uneven. Maybe it's covering something. Time to go exploring down the hole. Below the remote obscure oasis hides Hidden Haven, the gem of secluded places. Mermaids and mysteries, the signposts embrace us, and peculiar paths which time soon erases. And so obviously you can heal if you need to heal. I just want to check our classes, 9, 5, 8, 7, okay. What I think I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move everyone back to level 5, if they're not already there. Marion's back at level 5. That way I don't have to rotate through changing one of their classes at a time. Because this, again, we're reset to mostly... Actually, this is even better. Now they're all the exact same experience, so they'll all gain levels together. It'll save a little bit of time in terms of having to rotate classes once anyone hits level 10, because they'll all hit level 10 together. So just as a little bit of a preview, because we are going to do a walkthrough of this entire dungeon next time, and I'm not sure how long that episode's going to be. Probably a little bit on the longer side, because I do have to traverse through 2 big regions of mazes. Once you get to here, it says, these platforms keep disappearing. We need to be careful when walking along these paths. Yes, we should stay close together. Let's get going then. The party is now moving together as one. So, there's only one of you here, where you're all tightly packed together. But you want to avoid all of these water pillars. Well, all of these holes. Water pillars are in the next half of the maze. Because if you hit one of these water areas, you end up falling, basically returning to the previous gray square area. So, if you don't really pay attention, you might be returning to the start quite frequently. With that, we've completed episode 10, I believe. And next time, we will make our way through Hidden Haven. We'll get our 4th medallion piece. Once Marion does a showdown with an interesting type of dragon, we'll meet Wally, one of the NPCs that ends up recurring throughout the game. And I think we'll see Ventanas get chased around by maybe not a bat, but he'll be stuck on an island. Anyways, thank you for tuning in again, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more clips about Mango Mischief, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. The Steam link for my game, as well as all Mango Mischief social media links, are posted in this video's description. I think you'll enjoy my satirical, retro-style, turn-based JRPG, and if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments section below. Thanks!